People in charge in Australia are dealing with a big storm that hit the coast of Queensland really hard. This storm has caused a lot of water to flood the area, damaged things like roads and buildings, and many people do not have electricity. The weather system that hit Queensland is very powerful. Here is what you need to know about the system and its effects. Tropical Cyclone Koji was a storm. It started off the coast of Queensland as a Category 2 storm. Then, Tropical Cyclone Koji got stronger over the Coral Sea. After that, Tropical Cyclone Koji moved towards the mainland. There were weather warnings for lots of places, from Cooktown to Mackay. The people in charge where I live sent out warnings that we should get ready for bad weather. They told us that the winds were going to be very strong and that it was going to rain a lot. So we made sure our homes were safe and we went over our plans in case we had to leave. We also made sure that the people who help us in emergencies were ready to go as Koji got closer. On Sunday morning, Koji hit the land between the towns of Ayr and Bowen. This is 500 kilometers north of Brisbane. Koji was not as strong when it reached the coast because it was downgraded to a Category 1 cyclone. The effects of Koji were still really bad. The storm moved inland and it got a lot weaker. It turned into a low. The storm still brought a lot of heavy rain and strong winds that lasted all day. In some places, the rain was really heavy. It was over 300 millimeters. The wind was also very strong. It blew over 100 kilometers per hour in some areas near the coast and on islands like Hamilton Island. The Bureau of Meteorology is still telling people about flood warnings in northern Queensland. This is because the ground is really wet and the rivers and low areas are already flooded. The authorities are warning people that the floods can be very dangerous and they should be careful. Even though the cyclone is getting weaker, the authorities want people to stay alert and watch out for rising floods. The Bureau of Meteorology and the authorities are concerned about the flood warnings. They want people in central and northern Queensland to be safe. Emergency responses were really fast in a lot of towns. Around Mackay and the Whitsundays, the floodwaters rose quickly that people had to be rescued in a big way. Some residents were stuck and had to be taken to safety because the creeks were moving fast. The roads and bridges were destroyed. The water just kept getting higher and higher in the areas that are not near the coast. Emergency responses and floodwaters were a problem in these places, especially with the floodwaters rising. The storm was really bad. It did not just stop at rain and wind. The storm caused a lot of problems. Around 15,000 to 22,000 homes lost power, which made it hard for people to talk to each other and made it harder to recover from the storm. The storm also affected airports. Airports in Proserpine and Mackay had to close for a while. The storm also caused problems on highways. There were delays and closures on these highways because of all the water. The storm was very bad. It caused a lot of trouble. The Queensland Premier, David Crisafulli, is making sure that the state is responding to the situation. He wants to keep the community safe and protect things like roads and buildings. David Crisafulli is telling people to stay from roads that have been affected by the flood. He also says that people should follow the directions to emergency shelters. The Queensland Premier, David Crisafulli, is really emphasizing that community safety is very important. The big storm that is coming is not the problem. A lot of rain had already fallen in Queensland before Koji got there. This made things worse because Koji was going to bring more rain. Some places might get up to 500 millimeters of rain in the few days. This is a lot of rain. It is going to cause problems. The rain that Koji brings is a deal because Queensland is already really wet from the rain that fell before Koji arrived. The coastal areas got hit hard by the cyclone. The inland areas, like the places from Mackay to Emerald and even further away, had a lot of rain and the water kept rising. This made the emergency services warn people to be very careful. The weather was really bad. Some places like Ayr, which is near the middle of the cyclone, did not get as badly damaged as people thought they would. People who live in Ayr said it rained a lot. The buildings and houses were not hurt too much. The cyclone did cause some problems. The damage from the cyclone was not as severe as people expected in Ayr. In Brisbane, people who help with support and recovery are ready to assist the communities that have been affected. The areas where farmers work are getting ready for the fact that they might lose some of their animals and have problems with money because of the flooding that has been going on for a time. The flooding is really bad. It is causing a lot of trouble for the communities and the farmers in the agricultural regions of Brisbane. Support and recovery personnel are standing by to help the impacted communities in Brisbane. The weather people think what is left of Koji will keep moving into the land and get weaker over the few days. We can still expect a lot of rain and a risk of flooding until around the middle of the week. People who live in the middle of Queensland need to stay careful because the emergency services are trying to get the power on, open up the important roads and buildings again, and figure out how bad the damage from Koji really is. That concludes our detailed update on Tropical Cyclone Koji's landfall and ongoing impacts across Queensland, Australia. Meteorological events with significant effects on communities and infrastructure. Stay tuned for continued coverage and updates.